Hello, everyone. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Dale.
And welcome to
It's So Universal.
Today's topic is about toxic thinking
and toxic
relationships. Yes. And by the way, hello. We've been gone for a minute. Excuse us.
Hope you had a nice holiday.
It's kind of crazy.
And a nice closing to your year.
Your year, yeah, the end of the year.
And a happy new one.
Happy New Year, exactly.
And hope you get everything you wish for.
Exactly.
In the coming year.
Okay, so toxic thinking and toxic relationships. Toxic thinking is basically negative thoughts that you think about yourself or whatever,
others, life.
It affects you. That affects you in your life.
In a negative
way. Yes. In a toxic way. So if you are constantly thinking negatively about yourself or others, that's going to display in your life in some way, somehow. So, yeah, go ahead.
If you're constantly thinking negative about it in your relationship, about your partner in your relationship, if you think focusing on the negative things in your relationship, that's what you're going to manifest. You're gonna bring that into the reality of your relationship, and whatever you're thinking on is what you bring into your reality. So you want to think on things that are good at all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
So negative. Toxic thinkings are things that can harm your relationships, harm you in ways where it stifles you.
Yeah.
Because it really puts you in a prison to that situation. Mm-hmm. They're all thoughts in your mind. It locks you in your mind. Mm-hmm. They're thought patterns, and it locks you in that place in your mind.
Right. And it causes... your toxic thinking or toxic thoughts can cause you to be stuck in a place where you're not progressing in your life. So, say you're just thinking the negative about yourself, even just low self-esteem, or you look in the mirror and you see that. You may not like what you see or whatever, and you just have that constant train of thought that you're picking at yourself. That can lead you to lots of things that's not happening for you. Like
if you're doing it it's self debauchery. If you're doing it, you're thinking negatively about yourself. It can cause you to harm yourself inadvertently. Not like you're going to go deliberately and slice yourself up, but. Right. Just like if you're having negative thoughts, toxic thoughts about passing a test. If you think that you're going to pass the test, if you're going to think you're going to fail the test, you go in with that mindset, and you go in nervous, you go in with all these anxious anxieties, and you go in, you can't concentrate, you can't focus on what you're trying to do, which is pass the test. So, inadvertently, you fail the test.
Right.
So, that's how it can harm you. So, you want to think on, I'm going to pass the test.
Yeah. Yes. And it goes even deeper, too, than that. Because sometimes we are raised in toxic environments. And so that can cause us to always have a negative outlook on life. And a negative thought pattern. For our lives. And to me, I guess the best way to overcome that thought pattern is to figure out a way to stop the negative mind chatter, is what I call it. It's like mind chatter. And it's always something in your head telling you
it's the constant conversations that you have within yourself. Yeah. The constant conversation that you have with yourself, to yourself, And when it's constant, it's recording, it's keeping those records, keeping a record of it. And when it does that, your mind does that automatically. You can try to, it just automatically stores records.
Yeah.
And so what we have to do is give it positive records to store.
Yeah, positive feedback,
positive thoughts to store.
Yeah.
Because when we focus on the negative thoughts, those toxic thoughts, that's when we start to make the universe work for you in that manner to make what you're thinking manifest.
Right. Yeah. And so we have to find a way to stop that. So for me, what I like to do is meditation is my way of stopping my mind chatter, trying to shut my mind off from talking to itself, basically, and to me in a negative way. It just kind of puts me at ease. It makes it puts me in a peaceful space, in a peaceful state of mind, and I'm able to breathe a little bit and somehow learn how to switch turn it off and switch it to something positive. So even like positive affirmations, of course, we know telling yourself something positive over and over again, it ends up with a positive result.
Right.
At the end.
And when you have those thoughts, the best way to do it, meditation is awesome because it gives you a time to come in one with yourself. You'll be able to come to your highest self when you're meditating. Mm-hmm. And that's a great way. Then everything shuts out but you. Also, sometimes you may not be in the place where you can meditate when you're to turn off the background noise in your head. So what you have to do is replace those thoughts with positive thoughts.
Right.
Replace those thoughts, those things that just replace the toxic thoughts with positive thoughts.
Yes.
If we're talking about relationships, and so even if in your relationship, whatever your relationship is, because when I say that, I mean with your children, your parents, everything is relationship. Your coworkers, everything is relationships. So when you replace those thoughts, that you have that are negative, even if it's my boss is going to yell at me today. My boss is going to yell at me today. Replace those negative thoughts with those toxic thoughts with I'm going to succeed today. Right. I'm going to be rewarded today. This is my day for whatever. Pat yourself on the back.
Right.
So you can have those positive thoughts, because the more you think on a toxic thing, it becomes your reality.
Yeah. And so also, with that being said, flipping it to our relationships. So, I mean, I would just say, in times past, I can attest to the fact of having a toxic relationship. And not necessarily in a relationship like a man and woman, but relationships as in parents, children, There's been some toxicity within those relationships, and it's at the time you're in those relationships, you don't realize what's going on.
That's right.
You really don't know what's happening.
You're going through it.
You're just going through what you're going through. And then once you come out, then you come to the realization that that was something very toxic that I was into. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, just signs of that to me is it can be someone belittling you, talking down to you, someone abusing you, like just even if it's physical
yeah.
is one thing, and of course we know that's toxic altogether.
But mental abuse,
yeah.
You have mental abuse, verbal abuse.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other ways that people abuse people, bullying. All these things are toxic, and it causes people to think negative about them. They internalize it as if they done something wrong to deserve that.
Right.
And those thoughts are not our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember, a lot of times when we tell ourselves the things that we're thinking, it's what we're thinking. And so we change those thoughts. We can change the trajectory of your day, of
right.
what, your outcome.
Mm-hmm.
You have control of that.
Yeah. And you do have control of that in your mind. You can control the thoughts that are going through your mind. People don't think that you can do that, but you really, really can. You just have to learn how to recognize that negative thought is not realistic. It's not real. It's just something that has either been implanted into you from outside sources,
of you,
or it's just an insecurity maybe that you have within yourself that you need to work on. But it's not who you are. It's not real. So you just have to find a way to counteract that with something positive.
right?
And as far as in the relationship type situation, I mean, if you have someone telling you constantly, you are no good, or you ain't gonna be this, that, and the third, of course you're gonna have that's gonna set up a pattern in your head to believe that.
To believe that, and then you'll start telling yourself that.
Yeah.
And when you start telling yourself those things, that's when you need to start replacing that thought with something positive.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
And even when it's someone, even on the flip side of that, because we have things that we think that are negative about in our relationships, romantically, or with your spouse, your significant other. You think, you have people, you have doubts, and we all have these records going on in our head. So,
right.
But when we have doubts and we have things that we want to ask our mate, be talking to our mate about, but we can't. One thing you cannot do is you cannot read your mate's mind. No matter.
Absolutely.
You cannot read anyone's mind.
No.
So once you take that reading minds out of the equation, you'll be okay.
Right.
But you can't read people's mind, because your thoughts are not anyone else's thoughts.
Yeah.
But your own.
Yeah.
And some people believe their thoughts so much that they become a reality to them, and they really believe that what they think is being said or happened.
Right.
And it's not real.
Exactly. And it's it's not real. So basically, you, like you're saying, you have to figure out how you want to navigate through that. So do you can take in that kind of thing and believe it for yourself, or you can know that you're better than, more than, and God created you to be better than, and trust and believe that about yourself. Mm-hmm. So, and that's hard to get to that level, especially, and then it depends on where you are as an individual. Mm-hmm. To me, like if you've been working on yourself a little bit, it might be easier for you to kind of say, when those negative thoughts come
mm-hmm.
in, it might be easier for you to say, I don't believe that, and then
return it to sender.
Right, exactly. Push it out.
Push it out. In one ear and out the other.
Exactly.
Don't meditate on it. Don't think on it. But everybody is not there. Some people are so insecure with themselves that they walk in a room and think that everybody in the room is saying something about them, because they hear their voice, their chatter voice, saying that they saying this, da 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 da. They saying this, and nobody is saying anything. It's all
in
you.
your mind.
It's
Yeah.
all in your mind.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's when I say it can be dangerous because it can cause problems for you because you're going off of your feelings. Then at that point you're going off of your emotions and your feelings because that's what you feel
Yeah.
that everybody else is doing and saying.
Yeah.
But this
But
your
not-
thoughts.
Yeah. But they're
They're
not.
your thoughts, only yours, no one else's. You can't control what no one else is thinking, and you can't read no one else's mind.
Right.
They're your thoughts, and when you bring your thoughts under subjection,
Yeah.
then you can move forward in progress.
Right. Right.
But until then, you have to bring those thoughts under subjection because they don't belong to anyone but you.
Right. And I mean,
And 9 out of 10, they're not real.
no,
They're not even really.
They're not even
There's
real.
something that you, within you, have made up, and this picture, this story you created in your mind, and you believe it.
Yeah.
Only you believe it. Nobody else knows what's going on with you but you.
Yeah. Do you have any examples of for you where you've had to kind of, change up your mindset or your perspective and your thoughts due to negative thoughts?
Negative thought process. Yes, I have, girl. When I was I have a lot.
I think we all do.
We all have then that goes to childhood wounds and everything we have to overcome from. But yes, I used to feel to myself that I was fat. And so then it was me self-sabotaging myself every time I get on this losing weight streak.
Right.
Then the minute someone says, "Oh, you looking good, you losing that weight," there it is. Here I go again, self-sabotaging because I'm like, I ain't that fat. Let me tell myself,
Yeah.
And then, but I know I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And when I see stuff in the mirror, I'm like, oh, my butt is big.
Yeah.
These are things that people have always told me about myself that made me feel like
Right.
I was fat.
Right.
So I have to take those thoughts because every time you do that, they're not my thoughts. You have to take those thoughts and bring them down out of the atmosphere and put some new positive ones up there.
Yeah.
Because you make those thoughts to become real.
Right.
You look at the mirror so long, you'll start to see a fat person.
Right.
And but you're the only one that see it. Nobody else sees it.
Exactly. And I think that's a struggle for a lot of people in terms of the weight thing because we live in a society where we're told now, in air quotes, that if we don't look
A certain way,
then we're not healthy, or we're fat, or we don't look appealing, or whatever the case.
We're
Maybe
not desirable.
attractive. Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people struggle with. Women.
And you can see how vain some women really are.
Women struggle with that, and that's such a toxic. To me, that is a toxic energy altogether. I wish that as a society, as a people, we would stop judging people off of their external
Exactly,
because it doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. If you learn that it's only skin.
Right.
It's only skin.
Yeah.
It's only a box. It's a package.
Yeah.
That's
all. It's a meat package.
It carries.
I heard somebody call it our meat suit. This is our meat suit.
meat suit.
It's our meat suit because
I said a box. This is not who we really are. And so when you think of it like that, it no longer serves a purpose. So when
now you want to be healthy, don't get me wrong.
Yes, this is the temple. You have to
your temple, and
keep it healthy.
You want to be healthy. You don't want to you want to prolong your life. You don't want to shorten your life. So we know, certain things cause high blood pressure, diabetes, those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about look wise or what you look like, that's subjective to me. Like I mean, I know where I'm comfortable in my body, what size I'm comfortable wearing, what size I'm comfortable looking in the mirror as. And for me, it could be 10 pounds over what the doctor or what someone else says.
What someone else says
is healthy. But it's cool for me.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm good. I don't necessarily need to go off of
the ideal body weight.
Ideal body weight. Yeah, because I'm short, so I'm supposed to be a certain weight, quote unquote.
So am I.
Yeah, so if I'm not hitting that weight,
I don't
on the scale, I can flip out about it, but I choose not to flip out about it. I just choose to say, okay, well maybe I need to fix a little bit, but I'm not getting ready to lose myself, lose who I am, and it doesn't stop me from being me. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't. I just never been a person to beat myself up.
Yeah.
Over that, like some people can be that way, where they beat themselves
They're
up.
Obsessed.
They're obsessed with it. Yeah.
That's toxic. That's a whole nother.
Yeah. And
that's a toxic thinking.
Mindset.
It is.
It is, because it can get completely out of hand, where people become they have eating disorders behind it. And that's toxic. And
that's harmful to yourself.
And it's harmful. It's harmful to yourself and your spirit. It doesn't do anything for you and anyone else, really. It's hurtful for people around you to see. If people love you, people around you don't want to see you hurting yourself. In that way. So yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing when it comes to toxic mindsets and toxic thinking, and I think that's an outside force that is put in the world, in the atmosphere, that causes people to have that toxic thought process.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
So, yeah.
That's the program thinking.
Yeah, it's program thinking. It is, and I've definitely I've had as an example that I've had those thoughts in terms of body image and what I'm, is society saying I should be this way or whatever. And it took me a while to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm fine.
I'm comfortable
within me. And I don't need to go according to what society says. I'm just going to do what's comfortable for Nicole.
I was looking at some pictures. Me and my girls was looking at some pictures the other day. And as I was looking at these pictures, I was like, wow. And you can see at one point in my life, through the pictures, where I said, fuck it. Fuck them.
Yeah.
I love me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love me. And I was like, you can see, you can tell the transformation
you can definitely
in the
tell.
Pictures. When you start to love yourself, you can, and let the shit go.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference, the growth. Because it's like at one point you could see that you can see.
Yeah.
Then it's like, fuck it, I'm doing me.
Right. Exactly. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what matters.
I love me, and nobody, no matter what they tell you, can love you more than you love yourself.
Absolutely.
So love yourself. The best gift you can ever give yourself is to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself for anything, everything. Forgive yourself and love yourself over all things. Love yourself and love. That's the greatest thing you can do is love. Love over everything.
Love over everything. And I think that when we can learn to truly love ourselves, and I think I prefaced this a different way with somebody before I was having a conversation with someone, and I said, you know what? That word love is a huge word, and it's a word, but people have to understand it's an action word.
It's a choice.
Yes, and
it's an accent. It's a word that is a choice. You choose to love. It's not a feeling. It's not an emotion. It's a choice.
It's a choice, and when I say it's an action word, I mean that in the sense of I can throw that word around to whomever, because we're as human beings, we are commanded by God to love each other. That's the commandment, that we have love for one another.
Pause that right there, because what you just said, so many people use that word because God said love. They use it as a byword. Right. Love you. Hey, love.
Right.
It's a word of bye, love.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Love you. It's not meant within. It's just said, just sincere. To be said.
Yeah.
It's another way of saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Or hello. Or it's not no real meaning behind it.
Right.
So that's why I said it's a choice. You go beyond. You have to dig beyond the word "I love you."
Yeah. You have.
It's a choice, and it's felt.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's a word that people throw around without the action behind it. And so, with that being said, loving yourself sometimes for people is hard to do. And I don't know why, as people in the society, why it's that way. I can only think the reason why is because we're programmed to feel like, we have to sacrifice this or be this way or act this way or whatever.
Show love.
To show love or to just be, there's so many rules and regulations placed on us as human beings that I don't think that we get to the need of really loving ourselves as God would want us to do. And so, to me, when I think of loving myself, I think of it as a relationship. It's a relationship that you have with you. So, it's kind of like I'm in love with me. So when you say love is one word, being in love, I'm out. Like you say, people say I love that person. I'm not in love with that person. No, in love. Okay, if that's a different thing, then people need to learn how to do that with themselves.
Within that,
you need to learn how to be in love with yourself. So that way, when you're in love with yourself, there's only going to be so much you're going to deal with as a person. And if someone is coming to you and it's a toxic situation or their behavior is toxic, if you are in love with you, then you recognize that toxicity and you'll stop before you even really get started. Or at some point, even if you're already in it and you're working on yourself, you're healing yourself, or you're working on healing yourself, and you start to love yourself in that way, even if you're in a toxic relationship, at some point you'll stop and say, no, I'm not doing this. I can't.
I'm not doing that.
No, I'm not
going
to.
Put my foot down.
Yeah, I'm not going to tolerate disrespect or whatever towards me. I know who I am. I love myself. I know what I bring to the table. And you cut. You cut and you go. But I think it takes time for a person to get to that level. I think that I don't want to say a long time because it doesn't have to take a long time. But it does have to take some self-awareness for yourself so that you can be like, I deserve better than that, But you have to know that you deserve better than someone who's being abusive, whether it be physical, whether it be emotional, whether it be mental, whatever. You deserve better than that. And people can tell you that. I can tell you that all day long. I can say, girl, you don't have to deal with X, Y, and Z. You deserve better than that. But if you don't believe it about yourself,
yes. If I don't believe it, it matters nothing.
It doesn't make a difference, right? So, so that's what.
So you basically you settle for what you end up settling for less because you don't love yourself enough. Because you don't love yourself enough.
Yeah.
To make the choice.
To make the choice to get out of a toxic relationship.
Get out of a toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's so deep.
There's this book I read once about codependency relationship.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So there's also, there's a lot of reasons that people feel like they need to stay. There's a lot of people, and we're not telling anybody to leave their relationships. Don't think that's what this is about. We telling you to seek help and get some, love yourself.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. We're not telling anybody to leave their relationships, but if you are being physically abused, get out.
Get out. If you are being physically
abused,
get out.
Make a plan and get out.
And if there's some questions, if you ask yourself, you have your intuition, and if you are constantly asking yourself that chatter, if it's that chatter is that constantly asking you, saying you constantly chatter, talk to yourself is, I deserve better. I need to get out of here. This is not for me. If that's that constant chatter, that's your intuition telling you to go.
Yes. Yeah.
Listen to that.
Yeah. That's your higher self.
Listen to that. That is your higher self saying,
it's
go.
time to go.
It's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to that.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, because, I mean, at this point in time where we are, to me, in the world, it's so much toxicity. That is really crazy, honestly.
It's very.
It is so much of it out here. And I know people throw these words around, narcissistic, but toxicity. These things are buzzwords that are out now in society. And I think in some sense it's a good thing, but we have to understand where all of it is really coming from. Because I think it's a good thing because people are starting to be waking up to becoming aware of the nonsense, the bull.
Yeah, they're aware.
they're becoming aware of that toxic energy and toxicity that's in their life. So that's a good thing. So we have to take all of that, and do your research, study, figure out things for yourself, go within and learn how to love on yourself. Because like I said, once you do that, you won't accept anything coming to you that's not what you want it to be.
Oh, that's right. And at the standard that you want it to be.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah.
We you have to fall in love with yourself.
Yeah.
Date yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself. Like I was telling somebody yesterday, it's okay to go out on a date by yourself.
By yourself. Oh yeah.
It's
date night with me.
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Have some alone time.
Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes with you saying that, have some alone time, I love that because I'm the kind of person that I don't mind being alone. Like a lot of people will say, okay, when I say that, let me clarify, because people are like, nobody wants to be alone. I like myself. I like my own.
I like myself. I love my company.
I like my own company. So
right.
I have no problem with sitting by myself in a restaurant, having a nice meal, having a glass of wine, enjoying myself. Enjoying myself.
Exactly.
I don't feel lonely when I do that. I don't feel like, oh, I wish I had a man here or girlfriends. I mean, I can have that at any time. That's another thing. Like, I'm aware that that's not something that's out of my reach. If I want to hang out with my girl, I'll be like, hey, what you doing? Come on, let's go. What we doing? Da, 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 da. That's point blank, period. And a man, text, okay, you want to hook? Okay, let's do that. Period. You know, but I don't have to have that. I'm okay if I feel like I want to take myself out, sit down and have a nice dinner. I'll do that.
Why do some men feel like you out trying to catch somebody when you're doing that?
I don't know. I don't understand that. I don't understand why some men think that when girlfriends have girls' night out, they out trying to catch a man. Like,
I don't have to go out to catch a man. I can catch a man in the grocery
store. Or at the car wash.
At the
gas pump.
Wherever.
I don't get it.
I don't understand that.
If I'm
going out, that's definitely not what I'm going out to find.
No. If I'm going out with my girlfriend,
we're going out to have a good time.
We're going out because
not to look
we had a hard week at work, and sometimes we might be trying to get away from a man.
We might be trying to get away from a man. We might want to be with the girls.
Thank you. It's not even about that. It's about just enjoying
each other
with your friends or by yourself. Or by yourself. You don't have to have somebody to do that.
Oh my gosh, we're
we are. We don't have to have. You don't have to have. But it takes. And I said that to say that not everybody is there.
Not everybody.
And I know that's
not everybody there. Some people are intimidated by people who are there.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna just say like this: everybody don't deserve your company.
Right.
For one.
This
so
is true.
Sometimes it's okay to sit by yourself because that's the best thing.
Yeah.
That's the best company for you right now at that moment.
At that moment, yeah.
You know.
And it's not a. To me, it's not a throwing a shade on anyone who's not to that point yet, or who just feels like they need to have someone they don't feel comfortable going out to the movies by themselves or to dinner by themselves. That's just the stage and where you are, and if that's where you are, that's fine too. However, I think that if when you get to the point where you are okay with not having that, then that just makes you a more well-rounded person and
more in tune with yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you can start dating yourself and when you can like your own company, you don't mind doing things alone.
Yeah, you don't. And yeah, I just feel like for me, I've always been that kind of person that it's like I don't really want to be up under someone all the time, and I don't know if it's because of my profession and I'm around people all the time and I'm talking a lot all the time. Sometimes I just want to sit in silence
and not say
anything and not hear anybody say anything to me.
I just want to hear
don't talk to me.
Just my own
just let me
be quiet. Just let me be.
Yeah. And that's what I like. And I just think that within doing that for myself, I'm not saying I was there all the time, but I got to a level, I think somewhere in my life where that just became good for me. Mm-hmm. It became, so for me, being around someone 24/7 is not something I think I can do because I need my space. I need my time. And I know some people don't understand that, but that's just me, you know. And if you're not there, you're not there, and that's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all wrong with that. So yeah, but I think for me, I will say I feel like that having that time, being able to do that is what really helps me to stop the negative mind chatter that goes on, because we all have that. I mean, you can be as positive or whatever, in many affirmations as you want, but sometimes you're going to have something in your life that comes up that's going to place those thoughts in your mind. And that's when you have to learn how to just kind of put that stop sign up for yourself, like, that red and white stop sign in your head.
Put up the hand
and be like, I don't want to hear that, and change that mindset and
change your thoughts
to something positive.
Positive. Replace them with positive thoughts.
and think on those things
that are good.
Because, and I think that's part of, that scripture that says that, think on those things that are good. That's why it's telling us to do that. It's because so that we can get those things that we're trying to manifest in our life. We're trying to get those things, and if we are thinking on negative, we're attracting negativity.
And you putting those thoughts in the universe, and the universe is designed to spin around and bring it back.
Yeah.
So whatever you put out there is what you get back.
Yeah.
So you want to put nothing but positive energy.
Yeah.
In the air, in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Definitely. And
And speaking it on your relationship. When you start thinking negative thoughts on in your relationship, you create a negative environment in that relationship. So if you have things that are negative, you focus on the negative things in your relationship. That's what's gonna keep on bothering you in your relationship. So you want to think on the positive things in your relationship. So the positive things can remind you in your relationship why you fell in love, why you're together, and why you are a couple. And breaking up, you never want that to be the end game. You never want that to be the end game. You want to remain positive and remain focused on the positive things what make you come together. Focus on all the good times. Focus on all the good things that's in the relationship, not the bad.
Yeah. Think about, I had someone say to me once, to me and to my ex-husband at the time, that instead of thinking about the negative stuff in your relationship in that about that person, instead of thinking about the stuff that person does negatively that bothers you, think about all the stuff that he does or she does that
makes you
that
happy.
make you happy. That make you happy. And just constantly think about that and not the negative.
Not the negative. That was some good advice.
Yeah.
That was some good advice.
Yeah. Because if you do that, I mean, you'll start to just appreciate that person for who they are, and we can always look at the negative and that outweigh positive in relationships. But if you want your relationship to work, you need to put all that other stuff
the negative
aside
and focus on the positive.
Yeah.
Because especially if you want if that's your future, if that's someone you're engaged to, you don't want to focus on anything negative in the relationship, because you're going to always have things that go wrong, but you have things that go right too. So think on it's about what you want to think. Like I said, you control what you think.
Right.
You control the thoughts. And remember, your thoughts are not anyone else's. They belong to you and only you. You control them. So think on the good things.
Right.
Instead of thinking on the negative thing. Well, she did that. I don't like it when she did that. Replace those things. Replace those thoughts. I don't like it when she or he do that, this or that, with I like it when they do this.
Right.
That I like the smile. I like it when she smiles. I like it when he smiles. I like it when he comes over smelling good. Replace it with those thoughts. It'll make your relationship so much better.
Yeah. That's true. Now, I say, with all of that being said, I agree with everything you're saying on that level. However, I will preface this, of course, again, back to the abusiveness of any relationship. Because I want people to understand that we're not saying don't stay with someone who's being abusive.
No, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
Your safety first.
Yes. You want to get out of those relationships that's physically abusive, even mentally abusive, because sometimes it doesn't have to be a physical thing, but that person can be
mentally abusing you, and that's you're stuck.
Yes.
That's a prison.
Yeah. Yeah, it can definitely be that way. I mean, I think we all have examples in our family of those kinds of relationships, and I mean, I can attest that I've had that in my family, and I'm just sometimes as an outsider looking in, like, what in the hell is wrong with y'all? I'll be like, I don't understand. What?
I've been in relationships where I be like, do you even love me?
Right. Yeah. Like, what?
You hate all women, don't
Right.
you? You just don't like any women, not all.
Like, what's going on?
You know?
What's going on?
What is it? What is this?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen stuff like that in relationships where it's like,
I'm gonna be honest. It's also been me.
Yeah.
I've been in a relationship where I've been like, no, you know, this is, you know, I'm picking you apart because I don't know that your intentions may not be where, you know, I don't know what your intentions really are, and I'm thinking that my thoughts, I'm thinking they're you on something else,
right? Yeah,
and he's just thinking I'm just trying to be good to you.
Yeah,
and I'm like, so,
and that happens a lot.
Yeah,
I honestly find that a lot of people misinterpret each other so much in relationships
because we think we can read minds.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to stop reading people's minds.
Yeah.
We're not mind readers.
No, we're not. And it's all in perspective too, because I used to say, I remember saying this to someone. I'm always talking to somebody. Part of my job, but I used to say that it's perspective. Mm-hmm. So, meaning like in a relationship. So, say you and your partner are having difficulties, or you're having an argument, or you've had, you know, words or whatever, and he has said something that you took a different way, mm-hmm. and your perspective on what he said is totally different from his perspective of what he said and meant, mm-hmm. you know. So you take it and you're like, oh, you X, Y, Z, oh, you don't love me, or you just, and that's not at all what he's saying or trying to convey. But it's different perspectives, and so communication is key when it's situations like that. Because if you don't communicate, you'll never know. And then you can walk away from a situation with unresolved issues.
Yes.
Because of that. You can have unresolved issues in the sense that, I mean, and it can go on for a long period of time. Mm-hmm. And it could be something that you, as a person, woman or man, you took in what they said, and you never clarified, you never told that person how what they said made you feel, so that they can explain what they meant, mm-hmm. necessarily, or their perspective on what they're saying, and you just internalized it and you let it sit up for a long time, mm-hmm. and it sets up resentment, mm-hmm. and then next thing you know, y'all breaking up,
and all this,
and it's stuff that happened years ago that your partner bringing up from. You know, you just like,
you gotta leave the past and separate the past from the present in your thoughts. In toxic, you in your thoughts, you have to separate the past from the present, because you can't tie anybody to the past.
No, you cannot.
And you have to. You shouldn't. Yeah, but some people, when they don't know how to separate it, you tie them to the past. Yeah. That can kill a relationship.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kill a relationship. You don't want to do that. Mm-mm. You don't want to do that. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let the past separate the past from the present.
Right.
Also, you have to learn how to. You have to learn how to. Learn how to be able to take
criticism.
Yes, criticism, and be able to openly communicate your needs.
Yes.
And, you know, express them so where that, you know, if I want you to understand where I'm coming from, right. You know, and that you hurt me, but I don't want to say this, and then you feel I'm attacking you
Right.
because I'm telling you how I'm
feel.
feeling.
And that's the thing. That's why I said communication comes into play, because if you don't have that as a couple, in a relationship, then really it's just not going to move forward.
It's not going to move.
It's not going to move forward, because I'm gonna always feel like I can't. So just for an example, I may always feel like I can't express myself to you because you're going to take it a certain type of way, and so therefore I'm stifled in my emotions and how I feel, and I'm not able to get that over to you as a partner, as my partner, and then
you start holding back.
I start holding myself back and start setting up a resentment towards you, and then it comes out in the wash later down the line.
Right.
And you can't move forward in a relationship like that. You have to have communication with one another.
And communication is very important, and not dictatorship or talking. Communication is like throwing a ball. It's like playing catch.
Playing catch. Yeah.
You know, and it's not, because, you know, it's, some people get that misunderstood with, like, we're communicating, but if I'm talking, that means you gotta listen. But sometimes some people's thoughts, they're listening, but they're quiet, but they're not listening because they're already ready.
Tuned out.
They're tuned out because they're ready to respond to what you said at the beginning. But you talked this whole long time, and because I couldn't, get involved in the conversation, there's no conversation. Right. So it's just you lecturing me.
Yeah. So sometimes some people do that in the sense of they're listening to respond instead of listening to communicate or listening to understand what your point of view is. They want to respond to you. So instead of it being a dialogue between the two of you, it becomes a lecture. Or I'm talking at you.
Talking at you. That's
instead
better.
of, I'm talking with you. And to me, when you say it's not a dictatorship, relationship is not a dictatorship, that's where, to me, it pushes over into a toxic relationship.
It's a toxic relationship.
Because if we're two human beings, two adult human beings for the most part, and you have your perspective, I have my perspective, I have my way of thinking, you have your way of thinking. So ultimately, if you're trying to push your ideas and beliefs and ideologies onto me, that means I'm no longer an individual person. Then you want me to be a puppet, and that's where the toxicity comes into play to me. So
that is
that's where that comes to me, because it's like, we're grown. We all have our ways of thinking. I may not even understand yours, and you may not understand mine. And that's okay too.
That's okay, but as long as I still have my way of thinking, you still have your way of thinking. Your thoughts are yours, my thoughts are mine. We're two individuals, grown individuals with two different mindsets.
Right. Raised in two different ways.
Yes, and so we're not going to do everything or think the same on everything. Now, we might get to the same resolution, but that doesn't mean we get there the same way.
Right.
Yeah,
definitely.
So in communication, you have to be able to listen, give and take, and be able to, like you said, to have dialogue. Don't talk at one another. Right.
It's a dialogue. It's a back and forth.
Back and forth dialogue.
Yeah, and it's an open dialogue. It's an open, to me, when you are with someone, you want to, like for me, if I'm going to be with someone, I want to be with someone who is an open-minded person. So that when I come to you, I might come to somebody with some of the most off-the-wall crazy stuff, that I just set up and thought about in my mind and be like, do you think X, and they just look at me like I'm crazy, but you can look at me like I'm crazy, but listen to what I'm saying, and then be like, oh, well, even if it sounds off, just be open-minded to what I'm saying.
To receive what I'm saying and don't discard it.
And don't shut me down because, I'm thinking different. I might think different. Like you do.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, and I was telling someone the other day, who was talking about how our thoughts process and how, when we think on things, the way we think about a certain thing negatively or whatever the situation is, when we're two individuals, we can have the same topic. He or she is going to think about it differently than the next individual.
Right. Absolutely.
So we can all have, it's almost like a game. It is, life is a game, but it is a game. But I'm saying it's almost like one of those games I've played before, where you all have a different piece of a puzzle, but it all fits the same puzzle, and you have to place. It all has its place, but we all have our own thoughts. We're all thinking something differently. That doesn't mean we don't come to the same conclusion at the same time, or the same conclusion, but we might just have a different process to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that is a perfect example of the yin and yang of a relationship to me. I think that's because it is like a give and take type situation. But I love the analogy about the puzzle because it's all one picture. So everyone has a different puzzle piece to fit into that picture. And my puzzle piece is not shaped like your puzzle piece.
Exactly.
So, but it all fits the picture.
It all fits the picture.
So, yeah.
And then at the end of the picture's we've accomplished it because we've all took our prospective pieces and put them together to make the picture.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, to make the puzzle. Yeah. Definitely. So, what else are your thoughts about toxic thinking and toxic relationships? I mean, what else do you have to think about? What do you think about that?
Well, like I was saying, I think they're, if you think too negatively, you get caught up in them. So replace the negative thoughts. I can't say that enough. Yeah. Replace the negative thoughts with positive ones.
Yeah.
And let's see what else. Staying focused on focused on it. Don't get distracted.
Yeah.
Don't get distracted because it's easy to get distracted.
Very much so.
It's easy to get distracted and start back hearing the chatter.
Yes.
Turn the chatter down.
Yes. And that is so true. I mean,
take control of your thoughts.
Yeah. The focus is that's important because we all get knocked off of our focus all the time. Anything can come up. Life in general. Life
happens.
Life happens and throw us completely off of focusing on.
Off kilter, and we're gone. And you can be, before you know it, you're spinning, spiraling out of control. You don't want to do that. Yeah. Grab it from the beginning and bring it on to suggestions, bring those thoughts, and remember, they're not real.
Right. Exactly.
They're not real. They're just your thoughts that you manufactured in your head. Yeah.
Yes.
In your head.
And the main thing is, to me, I heard someone say this. To me, I think that if pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to your feelings along with the thoughts. If the thought that you're having does not make you feel good, change it.
Change it. If it doesn't make you feel good, change it. Change it to something that's going to make you feel good, make you edify yourself, make you help build you up. If it's not doing that, it's not serving you of any purpose. Discard that thought. It does not belong to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't own that.
Yeah. Pay attention to how that thought is making you feel. If it makes you feel sad, if it makes you feel alone
If
or
it makes you,
lonely.
even if it makes you feel angry.
Yeah.
If
yeah,
it makes you feel
absolutely.
angry, if it makes you feel anxious.
Yes.
Anything that it makes you feel other than good and happy and with high energy
Yes.
and positive. If it doesn't feel that, make you feel
Like that, discard it.
discard it.
Discard it. And all of that takes practice. It really does. And I know, like, I was, much as I listen to lots of motivational people and listen to people talk, and it's like, I hear people say that, and I'm like, sometimes that's easier said than done.
It is.
And I get it. But if you practice at it, I mean, anything you practice at, you become better at.
Yeah, right.
So it's a thing where it's like you have to practice that. But check your emotions along with the thoughts in your mind.
And your emotions is nothing but vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're when you're operating on a low vibration, you'll have those low thoughts.
Patterns,
So,
yeah.
so when you change your vibration to a higher frequency,
Yeah.
you'll have more positive thoughts.
Yeah.
And so that's what you want to do, is to change the vibration, come at the vibration that you're feeling in. So if you're feeling and having those low thoughts, you can recognize that you're in a lower vibration. You want to change that to elevate your thoughts to more positive thoughts of yourself.
Yeah.
Change the frequency channel of your vibration, and you'll that's how you recognize that you're growing.
Yeah.
But you have to, because that is, like she said, it takes practice.
It takes practice. It does. I mean, and there's, like I said, for me, meditation helps with that. Listening to music helps with that. Just going for a walk, like you said, I think you said that once before.
Mm-hmm.
Going for a walk does.
Get it sitting in the sun.
Yeah.
I like this. When the sun is out, I like to sit in the sun. I don't like cold. But when the sun is out and I get sun rays, give me a nice beam of sun, I'm going to go stand in it.
That's why we need the sun.
Yes.
It brings us, lifts our cortisol levels or something of that nature. It helps us to be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It does wonders, girl.
Yes,
for your chakra system.
Yeah, it does.
Your body needs it.
Yes, you do.
You needs the vitamin D, not artificial vitamin D. You need the vitamin
you need
D.
the real vitamin D from the sun. Yes, it does. And I know this time of year, so this is a seasonal time, and we're moving to winter, and it's cold, and this is a good topic for this time of the year because a lot of people have what they call seasonal depression. And, because we're inside more than we're outside.
And it's cold.
Because it's cold. The sun doesn't come out as often.
Well, it goes, when the sun is out, they're at work, so they miss, a lot of people are at work or they're at school, so they're missing the sun.
Yeah.
And so by the time
dark earlier.
it's dark, gets dark earlier, so it makes people feel like they've missed the day.
Yes, exactly.
So,
So this is a time of year where people are battling with depression. Holidays, if you lose a loved one,
if
or
you lost a loved one,
it's hard for you to see these time without that person, and that's another thing. So the toxic thinking can turn over to a lot of things in your mind: depression, anxiety, all that stuff.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it can be dangerous. And if you find yourself getting to that point where you're that low, you can find someone to go to for help.
To seek help.
Yeah, to seek help and
you need
talk
a
to
1-800 number again.
You need 1-800 da 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 da.
Call here, get seek help.
Yes, but yeah, there are people out here that can help you if you are feeling that much of
pain,
low energy and low depression and that kind of thing, and the thoughts just won't stop. Because it's like I said, sometimes it's easier. It might be easier for you or me to say, "Oh, you just turn on some music or meditate or whatever, go for a walk." Da 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 da. Some people do all those things
and still don't get
meditate,
there.
and still don't get there.
And still, the chatter gets louder.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And if that's the case, turn all the chatter off, turn everything off. To get in total, turn your light off in your room in total darkness. And sit there with yourself for a few minutes, quiet, in the quiet peace. And just concentrate on, close your eyes and concentrate on the light within you.
Right. Yes. And I think also breathing helps.
Taking deep breaths.
Yeah.
Get some good prana.
Yeah. Just breathe.
Breathe.
Just breathe. That's my mantra.
Breathe.
I've always said that for years. Like sometimes when my kids would be up in their arms about something when they were little, I would just say, just breathe. Just breathe. Because if you take in the breath and breathe out, it feels so much better.
Your shoulders are lighter. Remember I told you had you and Kim doing that up in my house?
Yeah.
Inhale.
Breathe in.
Exhale.
Exhale.
Feels so much better.
It feels so much better.
Practice. Try it.
Yeah. Just breathe.
Just breathe.
If you can still breathe in and breathe out, baby, just thank God and keep it moving.
And not shallow breaths. Take deep, long
a deep
breath.
Yes.
Hold it for a second.
Yes. And keep it.
Keep doing it and breathe. Just breathe.
Just breathe. Because, like I said, if you can do that, that means you are still alive.
You are still alive.
You are still living. And it is not that bad. It may seem that bad to you. It may look that bad. It may feel that bad. But if you are still able to take a deep breath in and breathe in and out.
Focus on that.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. You are still alive.
Yep, you can get through it.
You are still alive.
You can get through it. Definitely. And I'll say one more thing about it, about getting over the toxic thinking in your mind. For me, a lot of times what helps is gratitude. So sometimes I will just sit, or a lot of my quiet time comes from driving in my car. I like to listen to music, but sometimes I just like to drive in quietness, and I'll sit there, and as I'm driving home from work or wherever I'm going, that's when I feel like God just helps me to the things that He's done for me. That's when I just show so much gratitude, because it's like I don't even have to be here right now. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be to see my children grow up. I don't have to be to see all the wonderful things that God has done in my life. I don't have to be here for that. But I'm here, and I'm grateful for what He has
and
done.
what you've gone through.
Yes, exactly.
Because when you know what you've gone through and what you've been through, you're able to see the miracle, the product standing right here. I'm still here. I'm still here.
Exactly.
I'm still here.
Exactly.
I'm still here.
Exactly. I'm still living. I'm
still
moving.
here.
I'm still going. I'm still, yeah.
With the activities of my limbs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm still here. You're still here.
Yeah. And
that right there is enough to.
That's enough. For me, that's enough for me that helps to catapult my mindset back on the right track.
Get your back focused quick. Let me do this job. This is my assignment is not that hard. After knowing what I've been through and that you're still here.
Right. Exactly.
Keep it moving. It's not that hard.
No, it's not. It's really, really not. So that's what I think.
I concur. Listen, girl, from the other night, We was up so late the other night, girl. My voice is leaving now. We had so much fun.
That's good.
Girl, I was gone. Hello, people. Hello. My voice is going away.
So that's with all of that being said, I just want to say thank you all. I realize that we've been absent for a minute. It's been a crazy time right now with the holidays and
yes, we'll be back though.
But we're back and we're gonna be better. And 2022 is coming up, and
2022. Dylan Nicole, brand new. What?
Exactly. So look forward to more podcasts and just more fun.
Having more fun. Look forward to seeing us on the road and doing more things out there in public. Yeah. And with some different faces.
Different faces, yeah.
So look forward to that.
Definitely. All right.
I'm excited about that.
I am too. I'm excited
about that.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to our new year. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
That's right. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
That's right. Tell a friend.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes, tell a friend.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.